There's an interesting story reported in the Irish Times there last week. It's to do with the purchasers of new houses in a development from leading house builder Glenveagh Homes. The development was in Donabate in North County Dublin, and the homeowners have now taken legal action against Glenveagh Homes, alleging that the developer failed to warn them about likely noise from nearby metalworks plant when they were buying their properties. And the Irish Times has seen correspondence from the metalworks plant, which was allegedly sent to Glenveagh Homes from the metalworks business, asking Glenveagh to let people know about their business and that from time to time it is noisy. There will be noise, significant noise, because the manufacture, well, I don't know what to manufacture exactly, but it's some form of metalworks, so there's quite a bit of crashing and banging, as it were. And one of the families involved in the legal proceedings, which were issued last week apparently, but not yet served on Glenveagh Homes, one of the families have an autistic child who is frightened when there is a sudden, absolutely out of the blue noise eruption, as it were, a loud bang or crashing sound. So you can imagine a child with autism and having a difficulty with that. 3 separate cases have been filed against Glenveagh. They're basically claiming, obviously, they bought the houses off plan in Donabate in 2019, and they are suing for damages for, strictly speaking, they're suing for negligent misstatement, breach of contract, and fraudulent or over alleged fraudulent misstatement or misrepresentation and breach of contract. Correspondence seen by the Irish Times said that the company, the metalworks company, had asked Glenveagh to let people know about their business next door to the estate, but this apparently did not happen. Solicitors for the company in 2021 said that it had operated its business from the particular location since 1988. The letter said when Glenveagh started construction on the neighbouring housing estate, the company wrote to the developer asking them to notify purchasers that there would be inevitably noise from time to time, as with any industrial facility. The correspondence noted further homes were being built on the site, which prompted the company to again advise the developer to inform future buyers about the proximity of the plant. They have told us that they will not advise people of this, the letter claimed. The company said that it had taken a number of measures in the interim to reduce noise from the plant, such as reorganising the layout of its yard. The group of homeowners are taking legal cases against Glenveagh. They're suing for damages. The cases allege that the developer was aware of the nuisance caused by noise from the nearby plant, but concealed it from people when they agreed to buy homes in the estate. The legal cases claim this represented fraudulent or negligent misstatement, misrepresentation, and a breach of contract. The cases claim the homeowner's enjoyment of their property has been significantly impaired as a result of the noise from the nearby plant, and the legal cases are seeking an order from the High Court to compel the developer to take measures to end the noise from the plant, including, if necessary, buying the industrial site. They're also seeking damages as a result of losses and distress the lawsuits claim homeowners had suffered due to the noise from the factory. A spokesman for Glenveagh said the developer wouldn't be making any comment because they had not yet been served with any legal proceedings. The home builder did not respond to comments. One of the homeowners said that living beside the metalworks plant has been a real struggle for the family, and this is the gentleman whose son has autism and is particularly struggles with noise of random massive drops of steel. It's not something we expected when we bought a shiny new home. There was no mention of noise even in the planning file, he said. The 3 cases were filed in the High Court on October the 26th, court records show. Last year then, in the District Court in Swords, the district court made an order for the industrial plant to take a number of measures to reduce the level of noise coming from its operations, following a case taken by the secretary of the Residents Association. It'll be interesting to see how this case plays out, if it actually goes to a hearing. It may not go to a hearing, it may settle on the basis that perhaps Glenveagh will take some further measures to try to deal with the noise pollution, etc. It's an interesting case because often new developments and new estates are built beside existing businesses which may have been carrying on business for years, and people can get carried away and can overlook perhaps a noise from an adjoining business, and then you have the difficult situation of the new homeowners not being happy with their purchase and complaining about noise and noise pollution and noise nuisance and so on from next door, when next door has been carrying on his or her business for years without any difficulty, etc., etc. And now there's these new homeowners in the place, and obviously there's a conflict and a clash of rights. And let's face it, the original business owner who's running his business would probably have planning permission in place for his particular business. The developer probably has planning permission in place as well, and the files and the applications may well have been looked at very much on the basis of the planning that was submitted for, and the layout of the estate and the type of house and so on, but there may not have been too much consideration given to adjoining businesses or existing businesses, which may down the line, when people actually move into the estate, find that their enjoyment of the property has been significantly affected by the noise. Anyway, case of conflicting rights. It will be interesting to see, and the question though of negligent misstatement, fraudulent misstatement, breach of contract in a situation like this, that's going to be an interesting legal argument, because quite frankly, when you're buying a property, it is a question of buyer beware, and you do have to carry out a certain amount of research yourself to see what's going on in the area, what's going on next door. Is there a dump? Is there some sort of a landfill? Or is there something else that might cause you some discomfort in terms of enjoying the new property you're going to buy? You do have some obligation yourself to make your own inquiries. Obviously the vendor of the properties can't make fraudulent or can't make misstatements, and I'm not saying for a minute that Glenveagh did, but the question here is, did they, by failing to disclose the noise nuisance next door, did they, implicitly misstate or misrepresent the situation? Obviously the letter from the adjoining business, which asked Glenveagh to let homeowners know about them, obviously that won't look great from Glenveagh's perspective. But who knows, and who knows, what measures Glenveagh have already taken. Maybe they took perfectly reasonable measures to try to ameliorate the noise difficulty, and obviously everybody has rights. Glenveagh have rights, the business is carrying on business for years there have rights, and the homeowners have rights, and it'll be interesting to see how this case plays out. Hope you find this useful. If you do, we'd appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up down below if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening to my podcast, the Irish Law and Small Business Podcast, on Spotify or iTunes or on Google Podcasts or wherever you might listen to your podcast, I'd appreciate if you left a review. Thanks a lot.